Hildryn can either be bought for 325 platinum, or you can build her if the Exploiter Orb, which is one of the Orb Mother boss battles, is around. It is a touchy subject, but it is only available to get the parts for when that is around. It works kind of like the ghouls. It's going to be here every now and then, but not here all the time, so the parts are not always available. And she has 0 energy. But there is a reason for this. And this was the main reason I have held off doing anything related to her, because the parts, nobody knew what they were going to cost or what you would have to do to get them. The Exploiter Orb drops them. They're not actually that hard to get. You can see it's well balanced between them. 3 chassis, 2 neuroptics, 3 systems. It's well balanced in the way that they drop, but the requirements for building them, however, is not so much. Yes, okay, you have Night Extract, Argon Crystal, some Tellurium as the rare resources, but it is going to take 6 of the lazulite toroids. These are the things that are also only available from this particular fight, the Exploiter Orb Mother fight. So you will pick them up, but she drops 1 at a time. So you will have to do it at least 6 times. So you have more than enough time to drop all 3 of these from that boss battle. Her passive is actually really useful. You become invulnerable for a short period of time once your shields are depleted because you have no energy. All of her abilities work solely off her shields, and she has a lot of them. The first one, you can charge and launch devastating bolts. You don't actually have to charge it. It's like a exalted weapon. It is an exalted weapon. It's like exalted blade. You can charge it and shoot it, or you can just fire it normally, and as you can see, it uses shields. Shield pillage does, well, pretty much exactly what you would expect. It sucks the shields off enemies and gives it to you and your allies. Haven, I haven't quite figured this out. Create a shield aura around your allies. Enemies that approach shielded allies will take damage. You can see the things coming off allies that go to... Yeah, that is... It's a weird one. It deals damage, but it also shields your allies and costs a lot to run. Aegis Storm, you basically levitate and anybody around you levitates as well. Not, of course, to forget that the Balefire itself, being a exalted weapon, does have its own weapon here, and if you want to make it stronger, you have to come in, polarize it, and put mods into it. I've only formatted 2Vs on this. It came with 2Vs. I threw in the 4 dual stat elemental mods here. The combination can obviously be changed as to what they are. Hornet Strike, Lethal Torrent, Barrel Diffusion, and Magnum Force. Yes, it lowers the accuracy, but since they changed it and it now does 165% damage instead of the, I think it was a 65 it did before, it is now better to use that than Augur Pact. Of course, you could use Augur Pact with it, but it's not really going to change much because this is a purely status-based weapon and just kind of built it for status because it worked. It's not overpowering, but... well, if I was going to go secondary, I'll still run the Mooncatcher, which seems to be more powerful than this compared to the numbers that it has to it, but it is still a good exalted weapon. We are talking about a frame who, once maxed, has a 1575 shield, even though she does have a 300 armor. She still only has 390 health, and once you get into some higher level stuff, she is very usable for a lot of things. I actually found myself using her a lot right up until the Exploiter Orb battle went live. I went in there with her and was getting killed pretty much instantly because that thing strips you of shields and that's it. The little spiders cause bleed proc and you're doomed. Which was kind of a letdown finding that out, because anything that strips you of shields will basically leave her ruined unless you can use her second ability and get the shields back from somewhere. But this is why the passive is also great, because once the shields are depleted, you become invulnerable. Would highly recommend Prime Continuity in here over the continuity I have, but that Augur Record, definitely worth using because that extra 180% shield capacity made a huge difference when actually using her. It took her from 4,500 to about, if I remember rightly, 5,300-ish. It's not quite an extra 1,000 shields, but it is damn close. And with those extra shields, I was actually surprised on how well all of her abilities work together, despite the fact that she has no health and she doesn't use energy. She still worked really, really well, and she is definitely a tanky frame that is worth picking up, as long as you remember that if you're going up against something that can strip your shields instantly, it will kill her very quickly, because she is basically nothing more than a giant shield walking around. But for crowd control, the Aegis Storm thing, yeah, she is actually a really useful frame. It's just a lot of people are still annoyed that she is hidden behind that exploiter orb mother, and with that being a timed event, waiting for that to come back every time before you can get the parts, I understand why people are upset about this. It took me maybe 3 hours to get all 8 of those blueprints for her parts. The actual blueprint to put them together is in Vox Solaris. So it's about 2 or 3 hours work to take the thing out and get the parts. It's not that hard to farm. Having to wait, well, a lot of people seem to be forgetting that the only way to acquire Vauban up until the Wolf of Saturn 6 went live was to wait for an alert to turn up to get the parts, which could sometimes take longer than this event might actually not be around, because they've said that it may turn up quicker than, or roughly on average to, this is the equivalent for Orb Valus as the ghouls are for the planes, not Plague Star. A lot of people are saying Plague Star, but they have turned around and said the ghouls. If it's the same as Plague Star, yes, I can understand why people are going to be annoyed with this, but it's not. They've said the ghouls. This will run at least once a month, maybe sometimes, depending on how many weeks are in that month, this could actually run twice. So it's not going to be gone for that long, mainly because those toroids, 12,000 standing each with Vox Solaris, by the way. So you don't need to panic if you miss the event and now you can't get her. You just have to wait a couple of weeks and the event will come back and you can farm them then, and it doesn't take a long time to farm them. And if you're looking for a squad, go to recruiting. There's been somebody in there since this thing went live with the 24.5 update, pretty much constantly looking for exploiter or hosting exploiter. So you just need to find a squad to get her, but once you do, she is actually well worth the wait. If she wasn't worth the wait, that would be another thing, but she is well worth the wait, and definitely one of those frames I'm going to be using a lot of. But we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.